Well, there's breaking news coming in at this hour. This is a big NDTV exclusive, in fact, news break that we bring to you. This comes ahead of the DKS and, of course, the CM Siddaramaia's meet. Now, NDTV scoops, this is important to understand that this, of course, reveals to us DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaia's compromise formula. Now, as per sources, the transition of power will take place to DKS in the year 2027. In fact, sources have also told NDTV that there will be more berths for DKS loyalists in the cabinet and that Siddaramaiah is expected to back DK Shivkumar's leadership in the year 2028. Crucial information that we're tracking for you at this hour. There seems to be the compromise formula that is accessed by NDTV. Remember, like I mentioned, the sources have told NDTV that the transition of power to DK Shivkumar will take place in the year 2027. This is what our sources are telling us. And apart from this, there's also expected to be more berths for DK Shivkumar's loyalists in the cabinet. Meanwhile, we're also getting information that Siddaramaiah is expected to back DK Shivkumar's leadership in the year 2028. On this, my colleague Veera Raghav joining us on the telecast. Now, Veera, I wish to understand from you, this is a big NDTV news break that you're bringing to us. This, of course, comes amid the power tussle in Karnataka and perhaps even answers all the questions that might even be lingering in the viewers' minds. Walk us through the details.
Look, this is not definitive, right? This is what's being worked out according to sources, a possible compromise formula between the two leaders as they meet for breakfast. I don't know what they're going to meet for breakfast for. Two old Mysuru politicians meeting early in the morning. If they were meeting for lunch, I would have told you very clearly it was going to be ragi mudde or ragi balls for on the menu. But since it's breakfast, it could be possibly idli vada. But as they meet for breakfast, what we are given to understand is that according to party sources, that there is a sense that both sides know where they stand. Both sides are driving hard for the bargain. Siddaramaiah not willing to let go at the moment, and DK Shivkumar apparently has been very adamant about what he wants in this position since there is a halfway mark that's been reached. So as a possible compromise formula, what could be worked out is that DK Shivkumar, Siddaramaiah could agree to a transition of power later, not immediately, perhaps in 2027, with let's say a year or a year and a half left for the 2028 assembly elections. Siddaramaiah to assure that there would be a smooth transition of power, because it is seen as Siddaramaiah having the number of MLAs in his side, at least as far as the party high command sees this situation. But they cannot slight DK Shivkumar as well at this stage. The other aspect is that in the immediate term, if Siddaramaiah is going to effect a cabinet reshuffle, there should be greater accommodation of DK Shivkumar loyalists. DK Shivkumar retains the post of the only deputy chief minister and also that of the KPCC president, which was the compromise formula that was worked out in 2023. There are hurdles, though, to this, and that is one. The first key question is, will DK Shivkumar be able to trust Siddaramaiah and trust for a future transition of power? Because nothing is certain in politics over a period of time. Will all this be adhered to? Will this be publicly declared and publicly announced? How is this going to play out? But there are reasons why our sources believe that this possible compromise formula could work out. One, from the DK Shivkumar angle, they do believe that he is aware that he may not have the support of an enormous number of MLAs, and that a sudden transition of power out of Siddaramaiah could be very, very detrimental for the party. It could lead to chaos, because without Siddaramaiah's consent, it would be very difficult to effect a transition. Why would Siddaramaiah agree? Because Siddaramaiah has himself declared that this is his last term as chief minister, and now he has set his record. He has established himself as the longest serving chief minister of Karnataka, and he would go down the history books as the leader who gave away power and perhaps be amongst the tallest of Karnataka's political leaders in history. So this, we believe, according to sources, that could be a potential compromise formula worked out over breakfast. Perhaps they will go to Delhi after breakfast later in the day or tomorrow. The optics of it, the Congress very keen to send out before both the winter session of Parliament begins and both the December Assembly session begins, of clarity on the road ahead. How it's going to play out, we'll have to wait and see. But this is what we're being told, according to our sources, as a possible compromise formula that could be worked out.
But absolutely, Veera, you rightly mentioned, and of course, I'm going to reiterate to our viewers that this is not a definite formula. This is, of course, one of the potential compromises that could be worked out between the two leaders. And also, of course, Veera, you've given us one crucial question to answer, not just what exactly the compromise formula is, but what also was, of course, on the breakfast menu. But I also wish to understand from you, how is this compromise exactly going to go down with DK Shivkumar's loyalists, given the fact that, they've even gone as far as Delhi to make their chants be heard?
Well, look, I think every side is posturing, every side has put its point across. The High Command has been clear. The Congress has categorical numbers in Karnataka, had 136, 137. So sending out an optics of instability doesn't work for anybody. DK Shivkumar's biggest calling card is that he is the party loyalist. Yesterday, he went and spoke about the sacrifice of Sonia Gandhi. His calling card is his emotional appeal to the party. And if he's going to over-leverage himself, I think the party high command is very clear that he'll lose whatever leverage he has if he over-leverages himself and over-pushes himself and creates chaos at the grassroots in Karnataka. On Siddaramaia's side, it's also clear that at some point of time, he needs to let go of a transition because it was a categorical a calculated caste combination that led to the kind of victory that the Congress had in 2023. And they cannot afford to upset a state like Karnataka, where the Congress is perhaps the last remaining bastion of the Congress in the country. And I think everyone realizes the importance of this, especially with the BJP trying to precipitate the situation, moving a no confidence motion, forcing the Congress to take a stand. I think there is a sense amongst all camps that they need to come together and send out an optics of clarity. How this is going to play out, how long they're going to hold out with each other, whether the drama is going to play out, seems a little difficult to understand at this stage. Perhaps easier to understand, Preet, is what is there on the breakfast menu. But this compromise formula, according to sources, seems to be perhaps the only way out. Defer, delay a transition, but acknowledge that there has to be a transition of power to DK Shivkumar. And in the meantime, give him something to placate him. That seems to be the larger formula that's being worked out. And I think observers and sources believe that that's the only possible compromise formula that can be worked out.
But absolutely, Veera.